Welcome to the Deep Dive. We are the Gambling Databases Research Team.
And we're dedicated to delivering, really in-depth analyses of the global iGaming landscape.
We look at everything, local regulations, tax, operator conditions.
All of it.
And today, we are cutting through the noise in one of the world's most fascinating, but let's just say perilously regulated markets, India.
That's right. Our mission here is to give you a really clear, data-driven understanding of how this industry actually functions in India.
It's so complex.
Oh, it is. You have this massive demographic potential, but then you have these sudden, absolute regulatory shifts that just change the game overnight.
Let's start with the scale, because the numbers, they're just staggering. India has a population of 1.42 billion people. And of those, we estimate, it's an eye-watering 420 million active online gamers.
It's huge.
And the market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of 18.4% through 2029. It sounds like an unavoidable gold rush.
It really does, but that growth forecast is now. It's shadowed by this massive regulatory firewall. Okay. The central piece of legislation is the Landmark Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Act 2025.
Passed in August 2025.
Exactly. And it fundamentally changed the entire operational equation. So we have to unpack this law first. Everything else, finance, demographics, tech, it all flows from this.
Okay, let's do it. Let's focus on that core legal shift. The act established a national regulatory regime.
Right. Overseen by the National Online Gaming Commission, the NOGC.
So what did this new regime actually outlaw across the entire country?
Well, the core prohibition is explicit, and it's severe. The act bans all online money games.
Meaning what, exactly?
Any form of gaming where the outcome relies predominantly on chance and involves a financial wager. So think traditional online casinos, slots, roulette.
All the classics.
All of them. And pure wager-based sports betting, all of that is now illegal, nationwide.
Wow, so if the traditional house edge games are just gone, how does an operator legally tap into that massive 420 million gamer base? What's the approved pathway?
The pathway is entirely 100% skill-based. What is permitted are formats classified as games of skill. So we're talking about esports, fantasy sports.
Right.
And certain online card games like skill variants of rummy or some forms of poker. The entire market now has to pivot exclusively to those formats to stay compliant.
That sounds simple on paper,
Yeah.
just reclassify your game. But the complexity, the real risk, must be in how the NOGC defines skill versus chance.
That is the crux of the compliance nightmare.
I bet.
And what's so fascinating here is the legal volatility. That line between skill and chance, it's legally ambiguous. It's constantly under scrutiny.
It's not a clear definition.
Not at all. We're not talking about a clear internationally recognized line. The NOGC uses a combination of criteria game design, dependence on external factors, and crucially, specific court precedents that are always evolving.
So a game that is skilled today
Could be reclassified and banned tomorrow after a single court ruling. And that is the regulatory reclassification risk we're talking about.
that uncertainty alone would deter a lot of investors. But it's the penalties for getting it wrong. That's what elevates this from a financial risk to a criminal one.
Absolutely. This is where it gets really important for anyone in the C-suite of a global operator.
Yeah.
The penalties for facilitating illegal online money gaming are severe. They start with heavy fines, of course, but critically, they include imprisonment up to 3 years.
3 years.
And that's not all. The government also has the power to seize any assets derived from illegal activities.
And the risk is so much more acute for management there compared to, say, operating from offshore.
Right, because of the mandatory structure for entry. To get a license for any kind of skill gaming, you must establish an Indian legal entity.
A local company?
A local company, and you must have resident management in India. Your data hosting has to be local.
So your leadership team is physically there.
Your designated directors are within physical reach of Indian law enforcement. So if the NRGC decides your platform crossed that very ambiguous line...
The directors are the ones who face the immediate risk of arrest.
And criminal liability.
Yes, that just shifts the entire risk profile. It takes it out of the corporate ledger and puts it straight into personal liability.
It's why our operator ease score sits at a dangerous 2.7 out of 10.
With a critical risk warning. Okay, so if that legal exposure wasn't enough, we need to turn to the financial hurdles. The things that make profitability a tight squeeze, even if you are compliant.
Which brings us smoothly to the financial reality check.
Right.
Before August 2025, the market already had a 28% goods and services tax on gross gaming revenue.
Which is high.
Already high. The new rules then layered on two more major financial barriers that they erode liquidity and profitability for everyone.
Okay, let's start with the operator side. What's the investment hurdle just to get into this legal skill gaming market?
Well, first, the operator costs are significant. Corporate income tax is between 25 and 30%. Legal skill games still have an 18% GST. But it's the initial setup, costs, compliance tech, segregated accounts, legal audits. We estimate that's between $500,000 to $1 million US.
$1 million just to get compliant before you even sign up a single player.
Exactly.
That is steep. But the biggest friction point, the one that really defines the difficulty in India, that's the player tax. This is where the liquidity dies.
This is the liquidity killer. The second, and I'd argue most damaging barrier, is the player tax mechanism. India levies a flat 30% income tax on all net player winnings.
30%.
And this isn't a tax the player pays later. It has to be withheld at source by the operator. It's the tax deduction at source, or TDS, and there's no minimum threshold.
Let's break that down. If I win $100.
$30 is instantly deducted before you even see the money.
That is the liquidity killer.
Yeah.
Because in a normal market, players rewager a big chunk of their winnings.
Of course. That's how the ecosystem works. If the average player rewagers, say, 50% of their winnings, in India, that player is instantly forced to pull half of that rewagerable capital out of the system.
Because of the mandatory tax.
It just dampens player retention and requires exponentially higher player acquisition to maintain even basic revenue metrics.
That sounds like an administrative nightmare. Beyond the taxes, what are the daily operational burdens you need to manage all this?
It is intensive. You need comprehensive game. Know your customer, KYC, and anti-money laundering, AML, checks.
And they have to be stringent.
Absolutely. You need sophisticated age verification, robust self-exclusion programs, and segregated player accounts to protect funds. And on top of all that, regular third-party audits to prove you're doing it all correctly.
And how long does it take just to get the license?
The approval process itself takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It is not an overnight entry. It requires a very deep, committed investment.
Okay, so given all this, the severe risk, the financial friction, the tax regime, why do we still rate this market as having massive future potential?
That's the paradox, isn't it?
It is. And the answer has to be rooted in the demographics and the digital infrastructure.
Entirely. The market's resilience is all about youth and connectivity. You have this massive youthful population with a median age of around 28.4 years.
A huge cohort of digital natives.
Exactly. They're adopting new technologies faster than almost anywhere else on the planet.
And the tech metrics back that up. Internet penetration is high, 70.3%. That's over 900 million users.
Incredible numbers.
But mobile penetration is even higher at 83.5%. This is a mobile-first market, full stop.
Absolutely.
The infrastructure supports it with widespread 4G and expanding 5G, which already covers about 25% of the population.
And that infrastructure matters. High-speed mobile connectivity is essential for the real-time, low-latency performance you need for competitive games.
Esports, live card games.
You can't have lag. You just can't. The fact that the networks are constantly improving, that validates the investment in high-quality, skill-focused platforms.
And this connectivity is backed by a really unique digital payment adoption.
Yes. So the GDP per capita is around $2,600, but disposable income is rising fast in the cities. And crucially, digital payment is instant and widespread, and it's dominated by the Unified Payments Interface, or UPI.
UPI is everything there.
It accounts for over 50% of the country's entire transaction volume.
So let's connect UPI back to the business model. How does this high-speed, low-cost payment rail save the day for an operator who's facing that 30% TDS?
It enables the high-volume microtransaction model you need to survive.
Okay.
Because UPI offers near-instant settlement at a very low cost, operators can survive on high frequency, not high margins. Player spending is all about microtransactions, small skill upgrades, premium access, that kind of thing.
And that average revenue per user, the ARPU, is about, what, $8.85?
A modest $8.85. So you need millions of users making tiny, frequent transactions, all powered by UPI, just to offset the damage from that 30% PDS. It's a market built on razor-thin efficiency.
Which brings us to our final assessment. If we review everything, the extreme regulatory risk, the severe financial friction, The complexity, the overall market attractiveness rating sits at just 3.2 out of 10.
And it's categorized firmly as high-risk skill gaming only.
So what does this all mean for you, the potential operator or investor? Should you run or should you risk it?
Well, our recommendation is very clear based on the analysis. First, avoid.
Just avoid.
Avoid entirely if your core business is traditional online casino or sportsbook operations. That door is not just closed, it is locked, with criminal penalties waiting for your management team.
And for those who are highly specialized?
For them, we say consider entry, but only if you are a dedicated fantasy sports or esports platform.
And you have to be prepared.
You must be prepared to invest upwards of $1 million in compliance right away, fully staff an Indian subsidiary with local directors, and commit to a high-volume, low-margin business where that 30% player tax is constantly attacking your profitability.
The critical challenges just stick in your mind, don't they? The regulatory uncertainty, the personal legal exposure for management, including prison time, and that constant battle against the 30% player tax.
It's a massive market, but it demands total, unreserved commitment to compliance.
And this connects back to the bigger global picture, because enforcement isn't just confined to India's borders.
No, it's not. And this is what truly raises the stakes globally. The Indian government is actively using its extradition treaties, and they have treaties with 48 countries.
Including major jurisdictions.
Including the USA, the UK, Germany. They are using them to pursue financial crimes and illegal gaming operators. They are signaling that operating illegally in India has global repercussions.
And that's a truly profound thought for you to consider. How far will this aggressive cross-border enforcement shift the global definition of acceptable risk for the entire iGaming industry? It's a fascinating question.
Thank you for joining us for this exploration of the Indian iGaming landscape.
We're the Gambling Databases research team, and for the full text of this and other country reports, please visit our website at gamblingdatabases.com.